project. So in this short video, I'll be doing a quick pre-release analysis for Ayato, Kamisato Ayato, who will be debuting in a few days, actually less than 2 days from now, at least based on my time zone right now. Now his banner information officially has been released on Twitter, Genshin Impact's Twitter, and the weapon as well, which I will be talking about in a separate video. So this is purely just a pre-release about him in general, and I will go into it a little bit more when I talk about the actual character banners themselves as well. But in this one specifically, I'm putting Xingqiu on the screen obviously because he's the 4-star version of Ayato technically, because he's a 4-star Hydro Sword user, and we all know that Xingqiu is actually one of the best support characters in the game. He's quite up there, like close to Bennett, I would say. Now with Xingqiu though, his ult is his main thing, of course, and we're not talking about Xingqiu here specifically, but the point is I just have him on the screen. So for those of you who have been around with this game for a while now, you may have Child, because Child got several reruns already, right? He debuted and he reran twice already, I believe. And, that pissed off a lot of people as well, but that's okay. Regardless, he's my boy and I still use him as my avatar on my character screen here, as you can see. And, to this day, yeah, and then, I still love using this guy and I still use him in the Abyss, as you may have seen in all my Abyss run videos. So, is Ayato going to bring anything new to the table? So I do have Raiden Shogun here and Ganyu here for a reason. I want to talk about that because if we see based on the official information released for Ayato, his elemental skill is actually similar to Raiden Shogun when she goes into her burst form, because she can do all those electro-elemental slashes in the air, and similarly Ayato will do hydro slashes but with his E skill as normal attacks apparently, instead of in the burst mode. In his burst mode, though, it will be similar to Ganyu's AoE radius, I believe, and it's very similar basically, where she's obviously Cryo and he is obviously Hydro. Now, where does Kamisato Ayato fit into our team compositions? Let's just bring up our teams in the screen here. So basically, if you have Child already, and if you have him built up already, you may not need another Hydro DPS unless you want to switch it out because you're bored of him or whatever, or maybe you didn't go for him because you just couldn't stand him. That's fine. I know that there's a lot of people that skipped him every single time he came, and that's totally fine. Or perhaps you're currently rolling on the current banner, or have rolled for the current Kokomi and or Raiden Shogun banner, because I know there's lots of Kokomi lovers out there. I myself have warmed up a lot more to her since her clam set was released, and even more so since I've got to try her out again in this test run, and I also got her Everlasting Wind Glow. I did do an updated review for her recently, so do check that out, please. But anyway, yeah, she can technically, she's more than a healer once you build her that way. She can be like a sub DPS, right? So that's fine. She's not going to be like the most strongest, but she can do that role and heal. With that being said, though, Xingqiu is more of definitely a Hydro support and Hydro applicator, but definitely he can create lots of reactions. For example, when he has his ult up, most people pair him up with Hu Tao, for example, and they can just continue vaping and all that. He can also pair up with Yoimiya, etc. And then with other Hydro characters, I think the only other one left is Barbara, who no one really talks about, no one uses unless you're in the early game, which is totally fine. But Barbara really she's like one of the bottom feeders basically, where no one really uses her anymore. So I wouldn't even really talk about that. And really, Barbara, it just serves a real healing purpose, unless you built her up. If you didn't get Kokomi, but you decided to go and farm the clam set, or maybe you wished on the banner for Raiden Shogun's Engulfing Lightning, and ended up getting, for example, Kokomi's like Everlasting Moonglow, but you don't have Kokomi, maybe you can give that to Barbara, right, and turn her into like a four-star version of Kokomi. That's okay too, because at least Barbara can crit. Right, so anyway, there's those, or the prototype Amber, right? So anyway, where does Ayato fit in? Let's get back to that. So basically, he can definitely fit in with any like freeze comps. I can see him working well with possibly Chongyun, maybe. We have to see that, of course. I'm only making a speculation here, right? He could possibly work well with Aloy, for those of you who did get her. Possibly with, I would say, with Ayaka for sure, because they're meant to synergize. I would imagine they would, because they're siblings in the storyline, and they're meant to synergize. I would imagine. Well, Eula is really just a physical DPS, so I wouldn't bother with talking about her. I would probably skip Shenhe in this case, because not many people pulled for her, and also she's very, very niche support. People don't like Chi-Chi, obviously, so they wouldn't use her. Kaya, if you have high constellations for Kaya, he's really good. Similarly, female Kaya is Rosaria. They're very similar. So yeah, I can see Ayato working really well with those. And of course, for those of you who are maybe early or mid game and you're still using your Diona for shielding and healing, or whatnot, or free to play maybe, she's totally fine, and she could totally pair up with Ayato as well. I can see that, but I don't think she's really that much of a cryo applicator really. So for early game purposes, perhaps. So I would say just to generalize. Oh, and of course with Ganyu here, of course, Ayato and Ganyu should synergize really well, especially if you can place both of their AOE ults on the ground at the same time. Then it can continuously be like applying freeze often. I hope that would work that way actually. And of course, not just freeze, but you can also of course do like a taser comp with Raiden Shogun or any of the Electro characters. I won't go into each one, of course. Or even with like a vape maybe. I don't know how it really works with his. Perhaps maybe with like because like he needs to be the one that slashes to create the Hydra, right? I would imagine. So I don't think that it's going to be similar to Raiden Shogun, where her electro slashes can be off field and can be paired up with Yoimiya's, like fireworks, for example. So or her like normal attack infused. So I'm not sure really. We'll have to wait and see. So this is highly early speculation, but really he is debuting in 2 days. One other Hydro character I forgot to talk about is Mona. If you like myself, you may have gotten high constellations for her eventually as we played the game long enough, lose 50-50 enough times, or wish on the standard banner just every month, using the free standard banner wishes that we get from the shop and or from events, etc. Then you may eventually have gotten a few constellations of Mona, right? And Mona could totally be a sub DPS or support DPS as well, as you build her up, right? So those are all good options. Another one I can definitely bring to mind is like Shang Ling would definitely be an amazing teammate for Ayato and possibly for Bennett as well. For sure, right? And there's a definitely I think that he should be very universal. So long story short, he will be a very universal character. I feel like he is probably going to bring something not new necessarily to the game, but he'll bring maybe some 5-star aspect of existing things to the game. In a way, he's kind of like Kazuha, my boy here, my other boy. Kazuha, kind of, as we know, he's one of the only, I believe, hybrid characters where his moves include moves from like Venti and Sucrose and Xiao and a little bit of Jean in there, kind of, right? So I don't know, like he's like quite a very versatile character. So I'm thinking that Ayato is almost like that because he has some aspects that are very similar to, like I said, Raiden Shogun and Ganyu. So anyway, those are my early thoughts of Kamisato Ayato. And will I pull for him? You guys already know if you have been following me. I have a guarantee for him. So as long as I just save up enough more wishes, I should be able to get him. Even at soft pity or right after soft pity, which is 75. I should be able to get him before his banner ends. I don't know if I can get him right away on day one because I might be off a few wishes, but maybe like within the first week, I'm going to plan to pull for him because I do have a guarantee and I do want to try him out, of course, and of course make content with that. So that's that. But then from a objective point of view or a neutral point of view, do I think he's a must-pull character at this early stage? I will say right now, let's just wait until he's going to be released in 2 days, basically. So we won't really know, and we can wait until other bigger streamers out there and bigger channels have tested him out. Obviously, they would have gone crazy and probably would have wailed on him and made him C6. And probably R5 his weapon already at some point. So then those are good too because those are good resources because they have the resources, the real life money to spend on that and then do that. So that will let us know what my final decision will be. Also, I will be getting a copy of him, so I will also test him out and I will also let you guys know in an updated review video for him once I have him built as well. It also depends on RNG, right? To see if he's actually worth a must pull or not. But at this early stage, because I am being kind of neutral here, I would say that just hold off. That's what my current opinion is. Just hold off, and just like any of the other more recent characters, like Yae Miko, there was Shenhe, right? And then there was Ito. I don't know where he went, but anyway, Ito is down here somewhere. Yeah, all of those characters, they weren't like, oh, Ito's up here actually. So like they weren't like must pulls. I'll be honest. Like they're powerful in their own way, but they're not must pulls. They're very niche characters, and you could have skipped all of them and been fine, and skipped all of their weapons and been fine as well, right? So similarly, I don't know if Kamisato Ayato is going to be similar to that kind of trend that MiHoYo has been doing recently, where they make them very like niche, and but he seems more universal than them though. So hence, I think that he could be a better pull than the others. Also, Ito, as we already know, Geo is not a good element overall, because it doesn't have reactions, right? So and then again, Yaimiko, like not many people like the way that her gameplay style is, right? So then there's that, and then Shen has really support. So like there's all these things with those ones that are very niche. So hopefully he doesn't have any major flaws or drawbacks like them. But let's just wait and see. So those are my pre-release analysis, my own thoughts. What do you guys think? Are you guys pulling for him for sure, or are you guys waiting and seeing, or are you guys skipping him for sure? Let me know in the comments. All right, and please stay tuned because the next few videos will be talking about the official banners that are released, and in the next video I will be going more into detail about his possible weapon choices as well. So because this video is getting a little long, so I'm going to cut it here and we'll start another one right after. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for